So I'm going to go over the suggested topics that they have for me with their V2K talking 24/7. Everywhere I go to the hospital, they're talking, on the bus, they're talking, at home, they're talking. They hit me in the head because they said that's how they thought I would hear it. So they hit me in the back of the head, top of the head, the temples, and throughout my body. So they started out with this was going to be a reward and punishment. So I was going to be punished. Listen to this. I was going to be punished for things that they suggested to me. So the way they said it initially worked was that they would sit around suggesting things to me. Then they were going to punish me for when I told stories about things that happened at work. So one of my coworkers, who I find extremely funny, I love this person, said something and she said it out loud, and out loud I was like, oh my goodness, because she's funny, but I probably wouldn't say it. So when I said it at home, they said they heard me. So this is part of what I'm telling you. If they're surveilling me illegally and hearing things that I say, but also suggesting things that they think I'm thinking or that they think, then how do they then claim I'm the one saying all these things? So I'm not going to tell you exactly what the funny person said. She is hilarious, okay? If they don't like it, too bad. These are the types of people who don't like comedy. I love comedy. Even if it's off color and it's kind of like, oh my goodness, did that person say that? I think it's funny. That's my humor. It's not Seinfeld humor, because I used to like Seinfeld and I watched it. They said the way Seinfeld ended was because they were mean. That's not the same type of humor that I'm talking about. I'm talking about the type of humor, not in a situation. And I used to like Seinfeld, and I'm going to tell you the difference between what I think Seinfeld is and the funny lady is. The funny lady is taking a situation that's so horrible and bad and making it funny. It's based on fact. She wasn't making stuff up and coming up with craziness. No, she was basing it on fact. And she took a situation that everyone complained about, of all types complained, and made it funny. And yes, I was like, oh my goodness, but it was funny. So if I then come home after a long day of work and say, oh my goodness, you'll never believe what happened, blah, blah, blah. You can't punish me for that. First of all, you shouldn't be punishing anyone because you're playing judge and jury and God. And I don't like you folks anyway. So punishing someone who doesn't like you defeats the purpose. It doesn't work. The second part of that is, here's Seinfeld funny. Seinfeld funny was mean funny. It wasn't funny. It was mean funny. It was funny, but it was mean. So for example, you had the kid in the bubble. Well, in reality, if that happened, you wouldn't make fun of that person, but they made fun of that person. And that's my point. There's a difference between someone who is ill, sick, and you're making fun of them like, I don't know, me, and a situation that's funny, that you find the humor in that situation. Even though it's bad, you find the humor in it and you say something funny that's factual. Do you get my point? So one is a show where it's funny, but if you think about it, it really had a little bit of a mean streak. And that's something they acknowledged in the last episode. That's different than something that's funny. There's no mean streak to it. It's factual. So punishing somebody who is relaying a story and telling the details of a story means they're the people who are wrong. They're the hypocrites. So they said, well, didn't you ever wear a wig? And I said this in a previous video. I wore a braided wig probably in 1997. So what are we talking about? 20-something years ago. I probably would wear it again. Who cares? That doesn't mean they are allowed to lie and say my hair is a weave when it's not a weave, because that's hurtful. Do you get what I'm saying? One would be funny if it weren't hurtful. That's the difference between Seinfeld. Seinfeld's humor had hurtful themes to it. And that's my point. When you look at it, it's still funny, but there were hurtful themes to it. That's why at the end they had to make the last episode where they got punished, because it was hurtful. What they're doing to me is hurtful. The other point about that is I wore braids, and braids means I use synthetic hair, and that was in 1995 it was in 1994 and 1995. So 1994, 1995, and 1997, I had braids, synthetic hair, and I had and I wore a wig once in 97. Do you understand what that means? That means that doesn't mean that people can be mean-spirited and call my own hair a weave. Those are two separate things. But it also means that if somebody attacks me physically, verbally, I have the right to say something back to them. I'm not going to always stay silent. And yes, I do have an accent which comes out. So they said, well, when I was in my apartment, somebody who was attacking me with this V2K talking out loud system said something. And I said, is that the one with the weaves and eyelashes? So I called her weaves and eyelashes. I have a right to. She not only violated my privacy, she set me up for this to happen, and she was intruding on my space in my apartment. And if she can hear me in my damn apartment, that's the problem. That's the problem. So we're always going to argue. I will always hate these people. I mean, complete hate, and like no nonsense hate on these people, because this is what they are. They're mean-spirited, but when you go back at them, they crumble because they can't take it. So they said, oh, when I was at my job, I went to the ladies' room and I told someone, I'm going to the ladies' room. I may pick up a soda. I'll be right back. And we were waiting around for a while. I didn't pick up the soda. I came back and I came from the bathroom. And my manager yelled at me and I cried because it was like 12 o'clock midnight. It was long fucking hours that day. And I cried because I was shocked. How can I not be able to go to the bathroom when there were all these other people around? Facts, folks. Let's do facts. And what did that manager end up doing? Apologizing because I'm allowed to go to the bathroom. I can use the toilet. I'll end it at that because that's where they belong, in the toilet. Thanks for watching.